heightened security on the streets of New York following reports of a credible but unconfirmed security threat, this time believed to involve a car bomb. Mayor Michael Bloomberg attempted to ease jitters about a possible attack by riding the subway.
If we had confirmation of this particular threat, I would worry more, but so far not. But I'm going to do what I do every day, and we're going to have a great ceremony, and I think we'll give the families an opportunity to realize that the country has not forgotten their loved ones, and that we can go on from there, and that will say to the world that New York is back, and the terrorists did not beat us.
With the 10th anniversary of the September 11th attacks just days away, New Yorkers appeared surprisingly nonchalant about the report.
And I don't let it bother me too much. It's the city's job to keep us safe and just go on with my life.
No, these are nasty people. No reason to think they'll be particularly nastier this week.
I'm trying not to dwell on it too much, but yes, it is in the back of your mind as you're walking through the city. But I think with the measures that the city has put in place, they're doing the best they can to protect us, and to live in fear is not a good thing. So we just keep going on and hoping for the best.
This latest threat, reportedly focused on Washington, D.C. and New York, has prompted President Obama to order a redoubling of counterterrorism efforts ahead of the anniversary. And law enforcement have said there's a manhunt underway for 2 or 3 suspects, but offered few details. Deborah Gimbera, Reuters.
It is a time when we are meeting here in New York amid a looking back as well as a looking forward, and with the news last night of a specific, credible, but unconfirmed report that Al-Qaeda, again, is seeking to harm Americans, and in particular, to target New York and Washington. This should not surprise any of us. It is a continuing reminder of the stakes in our struggle against violent extremism, no matter who propagates it, no matter where it comes from, no matter who its targets might be. We are taking this threat seriously. Federal, state, and local authorities are taking all steps to address it. And of course, making it public, as was done yesterday, is intended to enlist the millions and millions of New Yorkers and Americans to be the eyes and the ears of vigilance. Of course, people should proceed with their lives and do what they would do ordinarily, but to be part of this great network of unity and support against those who would wreak violence and evil on innocent people. I could not think of a better place to discuss this topic than here at John Jay. For decades, you have trained many of New York's leaders in law enforcement and public service, including many who are working right now around the clock to keep our city safe and secure during this anniversary weekend. This memorial, which is fashioned from steel salvaged from the North Tower, will serve as a reminder here at John Jay of what this city and our country went through.
To move towards democracy, I think it's now clear they do actually want it, but how you then construct the institutions of statehood, that's a challenge which we found incredibly difficult in Afghanistan and in Iraq. The threat Iran poses to the stability of the region is immense. If Iran were to acquire nuclear weapons capability, it would destabilize the region very, very badly, and they continue to support groups of terrorism. I think regime change in Tehran would immediately make me significantly more optimistic about the whole of the region.
Hello everyone, welcome to Global Government News. Today is Friday, September 9th, 2011, and I'm Darko. This is my website, ggnonline.com. That's ggnonline.com. Also, DDarko2012 is my YouTube channel, and Facebook, Global Government News, has a group, and all the articles that I cover here, the headlines and the links, along with the GGN group on Facebook, will be posted in YouTube's video description. I have a poll up here, Libyan leader Gaddafi. It's been spelled so many different ways, so I've seen K Gaddafi, Q Gaddafi, all kinds of different spellings, so I think it's supposed to be 2 Ds, but either way, well, you know, you can go through the options. If you check out, go directly to ggnonline.com, you'll be able to see the poll. I personally can't see it myself, but I know what the answers are. You can go in there and check it out, whether he's going to escape a capture, he's going to kill himself, he's going to go out fighting, or you're never going to hear from him again. There's a news archive that goes all the way back almost 2 years ago now, and also you can enter your email address if you'd like. You just saw those videos on Clinton and all that, talking about that hunk of metal from the World Trade Center, and it's funny because you could actually probably take a sample of it and find explosive material on there, basically when the towers were blown up, because, you know, I guess you could say theoretically, but either way, it doesn't make any sense how those towers even went down. I'm not going to get into it because I have a buttload of information and news to get to, but it's just complete shit. And so you'll see the different people say, well, it's not going to bother me because, you know, whatever, either they don't believe in it, or some people will say, you know, they're heinous, they hate us because we're so free. And it's just, this is all being manipulated and staged from intelligence agencies and your government, so just know that. This is all fear-mongering, it's based off nothing. And, you know, it's just, I'm so sick of hearing about all these memorials for September 11th. It's just so sick. It was a blood sacrifice. It was a ritual. It was a new phase that, this, you know, as we call it, the Brave New World. It's a new phase, a new stage that all of us were thrust into. And now we're on the other side, and you can see it. It's dark. It's full of fear, and it's ugly. And it's not really a world that I like living in. And I know that it's all based off lies. So to me, it's my obligation to call out those lies as lies. So I'm going to go briskly through the economy. Dow falls 303 points, and the Canadian dollar falls. Also, the euro falls to a 6-month low. And commodities, moving on to commodities, Brent crude is down $2 at $112. Gas oil futures down almost $30. Heating oil futures down almost $6. And then moving down straight to precious metals, we had copper down $14, trading at $399. Gold at $1,858, so below the $1,900 mark. It was up about 80 cents. Silver down almost $1 at $41. Moving on here, we have Libya set to ship first crude oil cargo from west as production resumes. Well, it resumes, but it's going to resume a lot more for those European countries that are gas or petrol starving, or, you know, basically craving that oil, and now they're going to get more of it from Gaddafi at lower prices, which is what they wanted. Hundreds of missiles go missing from regime's abandoned arms dumps, and I talked about this. As rebels take over, fears rise that a huge arsenal may fall into the hands of the terrorists. The terrorists. Well, wait a minute. I thought they were rebels. I thought they were good guys. No, now they're terrorists. You see the hypocrisy that goes on, like Clinton talking about extremism. It's like, what are you talking about, Clinton? You guys are radical extremists. Everything that you do is extremist. National City cracks down on gold buying business, a 10-month moratorium on new pawn shops, secondhand stores, and precious metal dealers. So kind of a stink of World War II gold government coming to taking people's gold. Yields fall to 60 years low on Europe worries. That's right. It's going to be a stage crisis to consolidate Europe. That's what this is. It's another fabricated financial crisis in the Eurozone. So they can institute a United States of Europe. ECB chief economist resigns. I wonder why. Maybe he's not on board with everything. Bank of America cuts may hit 40,000 jobs, and Barack Obama's $450 billion employment package to save one job, his own. Next up, we have FBI raids solar panel maker. Once hailed by President Barack Obama, the future of clean energy was a target of a criminal investigation, and misled the government to secure more than $500 million. And that's how all of these green things are. It's all about taking the money, not using it for what it's meant to, but putting it into surveillance cameras and police state. Time for a U.S. infrastructure bank. That's right. Obama talked at his news conference Monday about creating a national infrastructure bank that could help rebuild America's roads, bridges, and ports, which will be then privatized, and you will have to pay for it. But they're going to make sure they fix it up with your slave dollars first. Here's a CFR article basically going more into detail about this banking infrastructure. It's just basically a new scam, a new black hole for money to go into. Pro-labor activists in Chicago protest Trans-Pacific Partnership Pact. So it goes here. It says that beginning Tuesday, leaders from 9 countries involved with this Trans-Pacific Partnership, U.S., Australia, New Zealand, Peru, Chile, Vietnam, Malaysia, Singapore, and Brunei, expected to meet at the Hilton in Chicago to sign off on broad outlines on a final agreement to propose U.S. trade deal. Activists said they wanted to raise awareness of the pact's potential effects on jobs and the environment. That's right. So basically they're going to offload all kinds of jobs. But look at this. Giant sucking sound part 2. The NAFTA of the Pacific will soon allow millions more American jobs to be shipped overseas. More information. You can go in there and check that out. Got to keep moving, guys. Links will be posted. Africa's friend China finances $9.3 billion of hydropower. And I was listening to Stuart Swirlo, who travels the world from expansions.com. He said he was talking to people over there and in Africa, and they say that the Chinese come in and build all this stuff like hotels and all that and infrastructure, and it ends up falling apart. As quick as it goes up, it falls apart because it's such shitty quality. It's all an illusion just to buy their trust. Is to go in there and rape their fucking resources like the U.S. and the West are going to do and doing right now. New Homeland Security report sees evolutionary shift in terror threat, talking about changing the nature of threats, basically to a big one to a small one, lone wolves. For many U.S. high school students, 9/11 is a day of infamy they don't remember. So, yeah, it goes in there and talks about a crop of 15-year-olds tell them the same thing, leaving them still amazed. They've never experienced the horror of watching their government carry out a sponsored attack where they blew up towers and sent a bunch of Saudi Arabians in a plane, that's even if they were in there, into the buildings. And why aren't we in Saudi Arabia? Because it would make sense, right? So... no, we're in Iraq and Afghanistan to force democracy on them. FBI warns of terrorist attack using small planes. Then terrorism post bin Laden dynamically shifts to smaller strategic targets. They're talking, of course, about the lone wolves. And domestic terrorism, quote, white people and just regular people are pissed off at the government. Alert after credible 9/11 anniversary threat. Then it goes on, Albania and New York charged with supporting terror. So good chance that he was giving money to a mosque or something like that, like the dude in Florida where him and his dad were arrested on terrorist charges because they were actually giving to a legitimate mosque. And says here, U.S. warns, attack us and we will come and get you. So go in there and check that out. They're on high alert. So New York police search trucks after terror threat. Check this out. Says today, officers stopped trucks and other vehicles for inspections. Drivers were made to open up storage spaces. And it says U.S. Marshals armed with machine guns guarded federal courthouses, increased security. So now they're doing checkpoints and that. Then we have massive security across New York. It's FBI hunts truck bomb terror cell, and go in there and check that out. Next up, we have human rights expert decry Harper in Canada plan to bring back anti-terror police powers. So go in there and check that out. And next up, we have most Afghans do not even know about 9/11, according to a disturbing poll. Why is it disturbing? Well, it's disturbing because they had nothing to do with it, and we're over there killing their wives and their children on a daily basis with these drones and that. So, and then we wonder why, suicide bombings in Afghanistan and Pakistan have soared in a decade since 9/11. There was absolutely none. 0 suicide bombers before 9/11. Now they've escalated. The original article cannot be found, of course. So moving on here, we have security spending after 9/11 tops $92 billion. Then we have after 9/11, airports wasting billions on needless security checks for passengers. National Archive keeps bulk of 9/11 Commission report sealed. That's because it was a government false flag terrorism. Just like Pearl Harbor. Libyan estimate, at least 30,000 died in the war, and pro-Gaddafi forces fire rockets at the front line. So it goes on here, and it says that they're fighting it out here and not giving up. Gaddafi slammed speculated escape to Niger and defiant audio message. He said, do not waste time on this weak and ignoble enemy. And it says the Libyan youth was now ready to escalate the resistance against the rebels in Tripoli and to finish off the mercenaries. We will defeat NATO, and NATO is rejected by the Libyan people. So it goes in there and says that it will not allow it. This is GGN, and I'm Darko. Thank you.